Hey, hi. In this video, I'm going to help you with how to use Amazon Bedrock, which is a foundational models for generative AI with using Python. As you see in this PPT depicts my demo. Here, my focus is, to help you to get on board to how to use Amazon Bedrock service from AWS, which is basically, a container of fully managed foundational generative AI model. So here, what I do is I'm going to quickly walk you through those services from AWS console. Then later, I'm going to help you to how to use those, foundational models with using Python. Basically in the sense we're going to invoke the APIs of those foundational models with using the Python here, right? As you see in this screen, currently I'm in the Oregon region of AWS and I have opened Amazon Bedrock service, right? So here, so these are the overviews, and if I directly jump to the point, so basically base models in the sense it contains the base model here. So generally, in a layman term, the Amazon Bedrock service is as I said, it's like a fully managed service that makes the foundational models. In the sense, it just provides the foundational models of the generative AI that any users can use those models with using APIs. In the sense, when you say APIs, in the sense we can integrate those capabilities in your application, make your application very intelligent, and also the business oriented purpose perspectives, right? So here, the major right now till today, whatever the services that the Amazon Bedrock provides, right, it actually looks oriented towards major use cases, like with using those foundational model you can develop a chatbot, you can use it for text generation purpose, or you can use it as a image and image generative purpose. As of now, this services has these are the five top model providers. Especially one is this one, that is AI 21 labs, right? And then you have the basic native Amazon homegrown models as well. Then Anthropic, we have a Cohere, and the Stability AI as well, right? So these are all the model providers. So if I go, so if you want to explore these models from the AWS, you can right away find it here. So for example, when you click on the providers, click on the model providers, specific model providers here. Let's choose 21 AI labs and directly jump to the the models. So underneath these provider, we have a two types of models, that is Jurassic 2 Ultra and the Jurassic 2 Mid. And if you directly go to the supported use cases, in the sense these models are also support certain particular use cases, right? So here, if I can tell you the example like Jurassic Ultra 2, so this is open book question answering kind of module, and here there is a link that where you can explore this particular model as well, right? Likewise, there are so many things, so many the metadata of this particular model is also been provided. And finally, this is the major interesting part of the demo, right? That is how to invoke those the foundational models API to realize the value of those particular the generative AI models, right? So here, this is what basically it contains the API. In the sense, these are all the metadata which is needed to invoke those foundational models. Yeah. All right. So likewise, if you go to the models, that is Amazon models. So currently, Amazon also provides a supported format. In the sense, the Amazon does provides these two kind of models, that is Titan embedding Z1 and Titan text Z1. So basically, these two models are being provided are homegrown from the AWS itself, right? And then it has a supported feature format. These are all the supported feature format. The major and the eye catchy view of this video is these API format is going to help you to how to use this particular model from the internet or from the API basically. Yeah. So likewise, we have Anthropic, we have a Cohere as well, and finally we have a Stability AI. So Stability AI is something very interesting, because this is the generative AI model which will help us to generate the image based on the description. In the sense, you're going to provide the generate the description of the image that you're looking for, and automatically this service will help you to give an image. So let's try this from the examples. In the sense, I'm going to go to the examples. So here there is an option called playground. You can also jump to there, or if you click on examples, it does ready-made provides you certain examples. So this is the stable diffusion XL model under the Stability AI provider. So Stability AI is a company which is like a, as I said, Amazon Bedrock is a collection of the so many foundational models provided from different users, including AWS as well. And this is looks like a hub of the foundational model, and the users like us who uses the AWS account can go there and consume those services, right? All right, so here we are right now exploring the the create image, which is an image generative AI from the tool, right, from the console. So if you select on this one, I know there is a prompt here called Sri Lanka tea plantation, right? So if you click on the so basically when you click on and open the playground, so you can, this is just an example, and that's the reason this is how it looks. If I go to the playground, I'm going to also, so basically what I'm doing is I'm also first walking you through the console, then we will take you to the the my Visual Studio Code, where I'm going to explain you like how to invoke the APIs of this particular model with using Python. That's the main concept here, right? So here it says basically we are in the playground. Currently playground is nothing but just like an interface from AWS, where you can try those modules, right? So here it says Sri Lanka tea plantation. Instead of Sri Lanka, what I do is I'm going to change it to India tea plantation, yeah. And let's see how does the image will be generated for me. So if I click on, so basically just a prompt is nothing but it's an input to that model, and the model gonna consume that particular input, and it would generate a picture back. So it says India tea plant, it's just like retrieving the same thing, but you can try something best. So for example, so I will say like the soccer, yeah. So I'm gonna call the football, basically soccer. I'll just say soccer. Let's see whether it identifies the soccer and retrieves it. So basically it says the soccer, in the sense it is identifying that this model has a capability that to understand the input provided in the prompt and then generate the image out of it, yeah. So this is just like a basic example to evaluate this particular model from the interface. When you do this, the same thing, we will also have the API request. So here, if you see in this example, this is the API request. Basically, what it contains is this API request information that you get it from the each playground is nothing but it's a feedback. It's like input, or it's just like a reference to how to consume that particular model, belongs to the particular provider, yeah. So in this case, to invoke this the stability AI model, now we're going to use this the API request body. So here, as you see, it has a major important the inputs, that is model ID, content type, body, right? And so this is what basically the playground is. So likewise, we're going to help with the chart. I'm going to delete this off. So when you switch from one playground to the another playground, or one service type to another services, it will ask you like that, yeah. So in the text we have the furthermore base providers, in the sense like AI21 Labs, Amazon, Cohere, right? And if you select the each one, so underneath that, different versions of the respective models will be provided, yeah. So Cohere is their product. In that one, that is a generative foundational model for generative AI, and they have given the name like Cohere, and that has a version like that it is, yeah. Likewise chatbot, in the sense it just creates a chatbot as well. Similarly, it has the models, if you see here, and then it does also provide these one. All right, so now let's go back to our original concept, that is how to invoke these model from the Python, yeah. So if you are aware of the Boto 3 model, which is a SDK that AWS provides, right? So indeed, I'm going to use the same, the model called invoke model. In the sense, if you go to the Bedrock, in the sense, if you go to the AWS Boto 3 model and search for the Bedrock runtime, right? So Bedrock runtime is a model which will help us to invoke those the foundational model from Bedrock, yeah. So the API is very simple, in the sense it does has only one API called invoke model, and it does also has the same the parameters that we need to provide and get the response, right? So likewise, let me get back to you to my Visual Studio Code. So this is my Visual Studio Code. What I do is I'm going to help you with playing with these these foundational model from Python now, right? So let's say how to generate. First one, let's see the easiest one, that is generate the text with using the generative AI model, right? And in that one we have a couple of options, that is based foundational models are being provided by these companies, yeah, and their respective the versions of the product as well. So what I do is I'm going to go to the the text.py file, which is basically this is a script which actually helps me to invoke that the foundational models from Bedrock, and eventually it generates the the required generations, basically required required generative outputs. It contains text, chart, or it could be image, yeah. All right, so here, so how do I run this? Basically I'm going to just walk you through the one file, but whereas the other files copy the just follows the same format basically, yeah. So here it has an import Boto 3 model. We have a JSON, then we have a base 64, even though I'm not using the base 64, but I've just added. Then this is how I am going to initiate the client of my the AWS Bedrock, that is In the Bedrock we have a two division. One is a natural Bedrock as a client, and there is another client called Bedrock hyphen runtime. So here we are using Bedrock hyphen runtime underneath the Boto 3, right? And then we have to follow this format basically. So here we are using coherent. If I go to, so these are the few things that I have tried from my side. So first let's explore the input data. And in the input data, if you see here, this is just this is just like an the dictionary which I have got it from the from here, that is from the playground. If you go to the playground and select the cohere and select the model, that is this is the model. And what I say is, so this is where the prompt you provide, and now automatically it will generate you the the API request. What I did is I just copy this, and then I'm going to go to the my Python code and I just pasted it, right? So here in this dictionary we have a key called model ID, which generally explains what is the model I'm going to hit underneath the AWS Bedrock. That is cohort dot command to text version 14, right? And then we have a the content type equal. This is the parameter which we need to put it here in this case, yeah. Then we have accept, and this is the body. So body here to invoke this the Bedrock foundational model APIs is it has to be in a byte format, right? So remember that the body of any of the APIs should be in a byte format, that is Python byte format. And that's the reason you see this is in the byte format. And it does also has certain key value pairs. That is, prompt is nothing but how to cook a tomato rice. I'm just asking that question. And then it has a maximum token. So in the sense, it does also restrict the the number of information, the number of lines of information that it can produce. And temperature is nothing but it's kind of a moderator. If I go to the console here, back to the console, the inference configuration, these are nothing but the configurations of the model which actually moderates the output of the model. In the sense, these are like a buttons of the model. If you control these models, likewise based on that, the settings, the Bedrock models will gonna return the output, yeah. All right, so likewise, so that is the ready-made option here. So that is where being used like temperature and the stop sequence, yeah, return likelihood. So like that. So these are all the the inputs that are going to help us while we use it in a real-time applications. So here I'm going to hit this endpoint. So rest all is very simple. That is, we're going to use the client, then we're going to invoke the model. So here the model is nothing but it contains a parameter like content type. Body is nothing but, as I said, this is in the form of a byte data type. Then we have a model ID. In the model ID, this is the ID which we're gonna use it. And then finally we're gonna we're gonna have the so basically when does it respond? It actually responds in the form of encoded. We need to decode it in the form of UTF-T. That is where this format is being written. Anyways, the script will be shared in my videos description. You can find it from there and try it. In the sense, basically play it, yeah. All right, so what I do is I'm gonna just run these I'm gonna uncomment the below one. Let's see. So what I do is, to understand what is the output of the format, you need to use a certain tricks, and the tricks is that is something I'm going to help you here. So what you do is, whenever the data is written, so you try it first to print it like this, yeah, save it. And as I said, so this you need to have the context of AWS account before you run this script, yeah. To do that, what I did is I just run the command called AWS configure in my this Visual Studio Code, and I have the context already set. This is my access key ID, this is a secret, this is the region. So region, please mention the region where you are running the Bedrock service, yeah. And then you have the default output format, that is JSON, right? So with this, my context is set. So once my AWS CLI context is set, the Boto3 model reuse those contexts from the AWS CLI, and then my script is ready to be run basically, yeah. All right, so what I do is I'm going to click on run. So that's simple how it is. In the sense, think that the backend, the AWS Bedrock is doing very heavy lifting job. That is, it is actually managing the models. It is also helping to invoke those models, right? What we are doing is I'm just invoking that API, that is the front end of the Bedrock, and just pointing to the right the providers, and eventually it is helping me to retrieve the data, yeah. So here if you see this one, so this is what the response is. To understand what kind of the data it does returns in the API. So it is hard because right now the document is about to mature, because as you see here, this is not enough document, yeah. I'm not pointing to the AWS, but they are still in progress to improve this, because the service has been GA just now, and they will also going to improve this the documents as well. But for now, to understand this, what is the trick that I'm going to use it, right? So I just copy this output, I go to the internet, which is a free service, and then I'm going to hit it here. So what I do is I'm going to just copy paste it here, I'm just going to copy paste that particular this format in the JSON lint. So JSON lint is a service in the internet which is freely available, which will help you to deal with your JSON objects or JSON data. So I'm just going to keep it here and just click on a validate. And here you will get the format of, in the sense, this is helping you to visualize how does your that particular body is look like, in the sense what is that it is returning and how does the dictionaries looks like. Yeah. So if you see here, it has a generation key. It's basically returning a dictionary as a response. In that one, it has a key called generation. In the generation, if you go to the text, that is where my output is all about. Yeah. So what I do is, I'm going to get that by uncommenting the below one, in the sense. So if I go to the data, which is my output, in that one we are interested to get the generation in the value of the generation key. Then since this is a generation, this is a list, and after that, I want to get the topmost one, and that one, from there I want to get the text. So I just did like this, and I know I'm going to hit it again. So let me make it more visible to you. So basically what it does is it will retrieve the the response. So here in the body, what we have asked, I have asked how to cook a tomato rice. Yeah. So that is the response, in the sense that so that question is will be answered by the particular the foundational model. And here you go. So it is telling that that it is actually explaining the recipe. Hey, do this, do this, do this. Yeah. And if you see here, there are still output, but since we have limited the moderation here, if I go to the moderation, so currently we have left it the maximum token equal to something like 400. So let me make it to 4000. Let's see how does it respond. Okay, I have not explored it. This is the first time that I'm exploring. So I change the value to 4000. Let's see how does it responds. Yeah. And likewise, so how I am invoking the text API, the same format will be followed for chat, image kind of use cases. Yeah. So let's see. So how does it respond in this case? Because if I tell you, while invoking that particular API, so we have increased the the increase the maximum tokens. Yeah. So tokens in the model or in the machine learning or AI world is nothing but a particular string. Yeah. So I'm just telling, so it can return up to 4000 string. All right. So let's see, what does it response for now. I'm still waiting for its response actually. Currently it is still running. So I'll just hit it again. Yeah. So looks like, the value is too much. Maybe it got hung. I don't know. So yeah. All right. So likewise, we go to the, so I think it is taking too much time. So while I wait for its response, let me cancel it maybe. Yeah. So then I will go to the next one. So what I'm telling you is here is, anyways, these example, the experimented script is been given here. I'm going to share this script in the video's description. You can find it and try it from your side as well. Yeah. All right. So I'm gonna do it, end it basically, because I don't want it to be. It looks like it hung, because we have given 4000, right? So it actually looks into a hung state basically. So let me go to the next one. So I'm gonna stop this basically, or just kill the process. I just kill the process and reopen the the same site, because in the words of time, because I'm doing a demo, so I don't want to waste the time. So what I do is I just killed the process. How did I kill the process? Because I killed the complete the session of this particular this one, right? All right. So now what I do is let's go and explore the next service. Okay. So what I do is, in this case, here is a text. Okay. So I'm gonna try with the another module. So this is cohort module, and we're gonna to the AI21 module, in the sense there is another flavor in the text generation. There is another provider from the text generation, which is hosting his service in the AWS Bedrock. Yeah. So consumers like us will be using that. Yeah. So here what we are doing is, we are invoking the module called AI21, and this is the the version of that particular module. Yeah. And here we are using the prompt, and in the prompt, I'm just asking how to cook the the tomato rice, and with this content moderation information and all. So what I do is I'm going to uncomment the this one, because this is what the format is of that. So let's run this script again. Since I have set the my AWS CLI console, so I don't need to run the AWS configure again. And here you go. So it has given the response in a very neat manner. If you see here, so basically this is the output from that the foundational module from Bedrock. And the output, so to cook the tomato, it has given me the answer exactly like this. So if you go this one, so this is, if you follow this one, yeah, eventually you will end up with cooking the tomato rice. Yeah. All right. So this is how we experimented two different models for text generation. Yeah. And generally those models are called as a categorized as a generative AI model. Now let's go to the image generation one. So I'm gonna go to this one. It just follows the same format, but in the input, the model ID will be changed because the generative image generative AI is provided by Stability AI, which is a vendor and who has a collaboration with the AWS, and they are having a model called this one, that Stable Diffusion X, XL version 0. And in that one we are providing these the inputs, right? And if you see here, there is a unique case here because this input body has a the key called body, but the value of the body is not a byte format. So what I did is, to solve that particular problem, I know in this format, I'm just invoking the json.dump, in the sense which will convert that the dictionary into byte format. Yeah. And then the model ID is normal model ID. So this is what the tricks I have used. And let's see how does that so how does that particular AI is helping us to generate the image here. So here I will not be getting the image, but I'm going to get the output of that model, and the output could be reused to generate the image. Basically it is returning an encoded format of your image, and that could be again reused to create an image out of it. Yeah. So that is all about a image generation, foundational model. Let's go to the chatbot as well. Okay, so because so there are multiple flavors here, right? So here what I do is I'm going to go to the chatbot here. So coher command. So let's go to the chatbot and get the get the the get that particular API dictionary, right? So what I do is I will go back to the chart, and here I'm going to select the EI21 labs, and then select the latest version. And here I will say now, tell me smallest stories, tell me smallest love story. Yeah, so this is basically what, in the sense, there is a already model which is acting like a smart chatbot. To that chatbot, I'm asking a question which is nothing but a prompt, a question to that chatbot. Now the chatbot has to answer to me that, right? So I will just run this here, and eventually it's going to generate me that particular smallest. If you see here, it has quickly generated estuary, right? So that's how fast it is, right? So to invoke this one, you can go to the providers, right? And click on the AI labs, and then underneath the AI labs you have these many sources, that is Jurassic Ultra 2, and then we have the Jurassic Mid 2 as well. So in this one you have the summarization and all. And if I go to the Jurassic Mid 2 as well, Ultra and Mid 2, basically so this is, you see, this is answering, summarizing, draft generation, information extraction. So you can go here like this, and if you want to use that particular AI, you can follow this one. So let me show you real time, how does basically how to so yeah, how to do those, how to invoke this particular AI model. Okay, so I'll just go to the another one. Yeah, all right. So what I do is I'm going to copy this, and I will go back to the chart, right? And in this one I'm going to go back and try to give this value like this. Yeah. And if you see here, there is a error here, there's a problem, because the data currently it is not in a proper dictionary size. So I'm just making it as a proper dictionary now. Yeah. So now my input became proper dictionary, and as you see, the rest all configurations are remain same. Since this is my dictionary which is I use, so this is a dictionary which contains the metadata to invoke the API. Yeah. All right. So to invoke the API, I need to use a client called Bedrock runtime, and from the client I'm using API always. So in all the three format, that is text, image, and chat, I'm using a single API called invoke underscore model. And in that one we have the content type like application JSON, and then the body and the model ID, right? So all these informations are being retrieved from this dictionary. Now here if I directly hit this command, it will throw the error. Let me show you that as well. So I'm going to save this. So, and one more thing is, so basically to use this module, make sure that you activate the Amazon Bedrock service in your account, in your region. Yeah. So in my cases, I have already activated those modules. So if you see the module access, if you go to the module access, all these modules has to have the granted access. If you don't have the access, when you go for the first time or for the first fresh one, these modules will not be in a granted state. So you need to click and ask for the grantation, in the sense ask the AWS to enable these modules in your account in the particular region. Yeah. So for me, these are all the granted access. If I try to hit these like Anthropic or say like Titan G1, so I'm going to get the error because these are not allowed in my account. So I'll go to the so here we were in the process of exploring the AI 21 for chatbot, right? All right. So now what I do is I'm gonna hit this basically. So let's run this particular code and let's see what does I'm gonna go. So here if you see the invalid parameter, why does it says invalid parameter? Because if you say invalid type of parameter in the body, so my body here is so basically in that body what I'm getting is I'm getting a key called body, and the value of the body is a proper dictionary, and the acceptable, in the sense the allowed format of the particular body type is class called byte, or byte, byte array, like that. But currently we are providing the class dictionary, that's the reason it is throwing the error. So to solve that problem, I did a smart way. I will just tell you what did I do. I did this way, in the sense to that body I'm just using the JSON dump format, which will convert the dictionary into the byte stream. So I did like this. Yeah, now it should be working. So if I go here, and all right, so basically what we are doing is we are converting this value of this body, that is nothing but a dictionary, into byte stream, and then invoking the API. Now I'm gonna hit the endpoint, in the sense I'm just gonna hit the API now, and let's see whether it does prints the data. So I'm just gonna print it. Yeah, so I have a co-pilot, that's the reason it is giving me the suggestions. Okay, so I'm gonna run this yeah, I'm gonna run this particular file. What we are doing basically, we are invoking the API model. You see, it says basically, if you see here, there is error occurred, the validation exception, then says when calling the invoke model operation, malformed input, that is schema violation found, in the sense please reform, in the sense there is a schema violation has been found found in this one. So looks like so this is the blocker, in the sense that the right now the documentation of how to consume those APIs is still in progress or still to come, and that's the reason I don't know. So now basically if I show you, so this is what I'm getting. Yeah, if you go for the other versions, maybe we're gonna have the the possible answers. Yeah, so if you go here, we have Amazon. In that one Amazon we don't have anything. In the AI 21 labs, we have the mid and ultra, which we can use it. So here if you see the error, that is boto 3 validation exception, that is error occurred. So here when calling the module, malformed input request, two schema validations. So looks like there is some schema validation happening here. So if I go to the image, and the input body is nothing but like this. Yeah, so this one is working, but yeah, if we go to this one, so this is basically at the line number. So error is happening in the line number 25. So in the sense here, so in that case, input module id is there. Then we have a body is there. All right, so basically it's just like a the while invoking the API, just throwing the error. Yeah, so likewise I have also experimented other format. I'm gonna share now, I'm gonna run the script as well from your side. So anyways, these scripts will be shared in my video's description. As I said, you can try it and learn it from yourself. All right, so this script is also giving the required answers to you. All right, so with that note, what I did is I have helped you, I believe that I have helped you to onboard to Amazon Bedrock service, which is actually a collection of foundational models, right, which will help you to use the generative AI technologies, right, with especially with using Python here. All right, so with that note, thank you very much for watching my videos. Kind request please to subscribe my channel, and also looking forward to see you in the next video. Thank you.